What up, raft leaders? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're back on the East Bank Bypass Road. We're approaching the end of the road. That is the part that is completed so far. I just had an idea of measuring the extent, that is how much road has been built so far. And my calculation using GPS is about 2 miles. So if you go all the way to the end, that is where the current end of the road is in Providence, and you measure that distance between that end of the road all the way back to the traffic circle where it begins in South Rumsfeld Gardens, that entire distance is 2 miles. So just about 2 miles of road has been completed so far. Yesterday or the day before, we actually looked at the end of the road. You can go take a look at that video where we saw where the road is right now. In this video, what I'm going to do is take a walk around the neighborhood at this end. So this is a new neighborhood. This is Providence. What we want to do is to take a look at Providence. I'm going to walk through. Walk through the neighborhood of Providence, and then in the next video I will take a look at what's happening beyond the end of the road, some of the construction. So we're going to take this detour. So this is where the traffic has to turn off from the end of the road, and we're going to go through the detour to see how they get past the construction zone. So this is traffic coming out. It's about 6:30 in the morning, 6:30 on Thursday morning. Alright, Thursday, August, is that 24th? 2023, and this is traffic heading to the city. That's traffic coming towards me is heading towards the city. And this is some vacant land in Providence. Now, yesterday we saw that south of this location there's a for rent sign. South of this location is, that's north rather, north of this location, we're looking north. That is Peters Hall, and this, I think this road seems to divide, or pretty close to it, seems to divide Peters Hall from Providence. And we saw that when we went past Windsor Estates and the Sheriff Compound Housing Development. Just wanted to see though, however, what kinds of homes are being built here in Providence. It's a little puppy. What homes are being built here in Providence by private builders? Get off the road, boy. You're gonna get yourself killed. I guess he knows where he's going. So this, for example, is new construction here in Providence. But like I said, a lot of the construction here is still retro in its style. For example, instead of putting all these sewage lines on the inside, they actually hang them off the side of the home the way they did back in the 60s and 70s. This is what, a parts store? Jap Parts. I guess they rent heavy duty trucks. So this is what new homes look like in Providence. Homes built by private homeowners. Hey, it's a little alligator that's run over. So this is what the new homes in Providence look like. Homes being built by private homeowners here in Providence. Still a very new neighborhood, so a lot of the homes are still under construction. For example, in this street, which still doesn't have a name as yet, these homes are currently either just completed or still being completed. Right, this one, for example, I think has recently been completed, as is the one next door, which is as yet unpainted. But this is what new housing development looks like here in Providence. This is the leading edge, as I said, of development on the east bank of Demerara. So a lot of these homes were built within the last couple of years, last 5 years, and probably on the other side, for example, these are still under construction, and the lots next door, construction hasn't even started yet because the homeowners are probably still planning, still designing their homes. So this is what the new housing development looks like in Providence. Now this is totally different and separate from the developers who are acquiring tracts of land and building gated communities, as for example is Windsor Estate and Sheriff housing complex. These are homes that are built by individual builders. Some of them still being constructed. And some of them fully completed, but lots of empty lots, a lot of vacant lots between the houses. But it gives you an idea, a feel for what is happening at the leading edge of housing development here in Guyana. So the procedure is that you would get a plot of land, usually which you have to acquire from the Ministry of Housing, right? You purchase a plot of land. I don't know what the price is now. It usually takes several years for you to get assigned a plot of land, and several years meaning 10 or 20 years. There are people who've been waiting 30 years. So you get a plot of land, and then you pay, of course, I don't know how much it is now, $2 to $5 million, maybe more now, Guyana dollars, which means about 25,000 US dollars. And then you can start to build. Usually you'd also have to fill in the land because a lot of it was plantation, which used to be flooded. You know, sugarcane plantation used to be flooded, so the land has to be. These, for example, this is an entirely new street. It's not yet paved, but as you can see, houses under construction here in Providence. Right, new homes under construction. So usually, because the land was underwater, so farmland, sugar plantation that was regularly flooded, usually you have to fill it in with, build it up with truckloads of sand, which I understand is now about $40,000 per load, which is what, $50,000 per load, about 250 US dollars. It used to be $10,000 to $15,000 10 years ago, right? But now it's $50,000, $250. So that's the first expense. If you don't build up the land, you end up building on, for example, The difference between these two properties is that one has built up the house lot and the other has not. So this one is about, the ground floor is about 1.5 feet, 2 feet below the one next door. But if you're going to build your house on stilts, as is the case, it's traditionally the case in Guyana, then of course you don't necessarily have to build up land, you simply have to raise the lot. And the reason why you want to build up the land is because the place is prone to flooding. Right, the area is prone to flooding. So now the street, this one is interesting because a lot of the houses in this street seem to have been completed. We'll just take a quick look at them. So this is a new street in Providence where the houses seem to have been completed, but the street is not yet paved. But this is what you deal with in new development. An area that is being newly developed is you end up having to live on a street that is not yet paved, which means of course you get pools on the road when it rains. It could be quite disgusting. But this is what a new neighborhood, brand new neighborhood here in Providence looks like, where homeowners are building their own homes. Here, for example, there are a couple of houses that are completed and another two opposite, entirely different in style, in various states of completion. That's looking back where we came from. And I think a few blocks away from here we're at the end of the community. In other words, homes are completed only up to a couple of 100 yards east of here. And so the neighborhood is still growing. A lot of the house lots are still vacant. This is what would happen if you were living on a street such as this. When it rains, pools of water form. So I'm not going to go much further. But this, for example, is what a new neighborhood looks like. Some of the homes have been completed already, and some of them are still in construction, whereas a few of the house lots are still vacant. That gives you an idea, guys, of what this new neighborhood in Providence looks like. As we head back to our detour, the paved road, which is the detour off of the East Bank bypass. So the point is, if you're planning to return to Guyana, as a number of people have commented on this channel, you've lived in Guyana before, you've left maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, and you're planning to return, and you want to know what it's like to move back home, then this is what you're going to be looking at. Building a home in a neighborhood such as this, or buying a home in one of the developments, the housing developments that have been constructed by the developers. I guess each choice has its advantages. You can probably count on better security if you buy into a gated community. You can probably count on pre-installed services like water and electricity, whereas if you come out here to build, it will take probably a number of years for you to get to the level of amenities that you already have in the gated communities, the communities that the developers have already built. But this gives you an idea of what it would be like to build a home, to return to Guyana and build a home in a brand new and expanding neighborhood. This one being Providence. Now this is the road that we stopped at yesterday. Right, this road goes east. We're looking east now. It goes east as far as I guess the end of Providence neighborhood goes, and probably we'll take a look at that at some point in future. And west, it goes all the way to the East Bank Road. And somewhere along this road is the end of the East Bank Bypass Road. So this is the home at the junction, the intersection. And these are the new homes that are still being built here in Providence. So this, guys, is the end of that East Bank Bypass Road. In other words, the road has been built up to this point. And there's still lots of vacant land. Now I'm not sure that it's vacant in the sense that it's not owned. A lot of this land probably has already been assigned to people, to buyers, people who already bought and purchased lots. And so the houses that are being built, being constructed, simply represent the people who have taken possession and started building. But the empty lots are probably assigned already. So if you're going to buy a lot, vacant lot, it's probably going to be not the ones that you can see, not any of the empty lots you can see here. It's going to be probably further east and further south of this location. But it gives you an idea of what it would be like to buy lots and to move into them in a new development here in Guyana. So that's it, guys. That's a detour. We just took the detour around the construction work at the end of the East Bank Bypass Road, and this is where it ends here. Saw this yesterday, and the day before, the last time we came to this section and made a video, we saw the end of the road here, and we saw what's happening on the other side of this road as the East Bank Bypass construction, that is, continues. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening in Providence, in Guyana, and at the edge of construction of the East Bank Bypass Road. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about the neighborhoods we've covered. That is a new expanding neighborhood in Providence. And what do you think about this project, the East Bank Bypass Road, which is now about 2 miles out of Georgetown at this point, and which they plan to continue building further south. What do you think about the pace of construction, the quality of construction, the method of construction, and where you think this is all leading? Okay guys, leave a comment below, share this video. Later!